You have joined the Lily channel, and I'm super excited to have you all here, but especially excited. Let me just check one thing here. Yeah, got both of our faces on here. Awesome. I love to interview people with super interesting backgrounds. And please put your hands together in a drum roll for Ed Kashmarek, because how often do you get to talk with an economist who has had some really weird online purchase experiences as well as a house fire and just you'll have to hear about it. He's pretty amazing, and we just met on Main Street Revolution's networking event. Very cool. So welcome, Ed.
Thank you for having me.
Seriously, this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which is why we're focusing on some of the challenges you had, given the fire, the weird online experiences, and a host of other things, and how you've handled them. I mean, could you tell us first about, God, your poor you, the electrical fire, how freaking terrifying. What
Yeah,
happened?
I was in my bathroom and the light bulb started to flicker a little bit. And next thing I know, and then next thing I heard, it went poof, and then all the lights went out, and then I heard a weird kind of flittering noise, and 10 or 20 seconds later, I smelled smoke, and I went down the basement and saw some smoke kind of emanating out of
Mm.
the electrical panel. And I was like, well, this can't be good. This is not one of those things where you just so, oh, I'll just wait to see what happens. No, you see fire on an electrical panel, you call the fire department. So 3 minutes later, they were out. And I was standing, it was February. I was outside in my sweats and my coat. And then they went in the house briefly, and they came back out of the house and they said, sir, please step away from the house. I'm like, that's
Mm.
not good. Next thing I know, I saw them walking in, bursting into my house with fire hose and an axe, and they put out the fire, and they had to put out the fire from both inside and outside, tear apart the siding off the walls, and hack into my bedroom. And
Mm.
so, I mean, the damage from the fire itself was very, very minimal. I mean, it was just kind of a 2 or 3 foot wide little area in my bedroom, but most of the damage was from the water and the smoke. So,
Oh,
I ended up having to move out, lived with my mother for 8 months while they completely restored my house. The good thing was I had some things that needed some upgrades and repairs. And with the fire, I ended up getting my entire house completely restored. It's like a brand new house now,
wow.
completely. So
So that actually did
silver
something.
lining. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If I actually, so in a way, I wouldn't say it helped your mental health, but it definitely didn't uh, dampen it too badly, thankfully. I mean, in terms
Well,
of,
in terms of mental health, I mean, see, I had been unemployed for a while.
okay.
And so this was kind of like a nightmare inside of a nightmare.
Mm.
And so I was looking for work, and then I lost access to my house, which means I pretty much was out of the labor force for that whole time. I actually did interview for a job when I was living with my mother, but it was pretty clear that wasn't going to work out. I was
Hmm.
I was literally going from my mother's house to my house almost every single day of the week for 8 months.
Oh
You
gosh.
know, packing things up, getting things out, checking on things, fixing things, whatever the case may be. And so that went to worked out. But in terms of my mental health, it was very, very. The first or second night was pretty tough. After that, it was like, okay, I got to get a handle on this. And then I just
Yeah.
basically, it was very, very uh, short time between being shocked and frightened and angered and all that to suddenly becoming my own project manager, because I had
Yeah.
to work with the insurance company and all the contractors and everything like that. And I basically set up a giant spreadsheet to keep track of everything that
Sure.
was needed to be done. And from that they did, the last thing that they ended up doing was hooking up my stove to the gas.
Okay.
And I clicked that off on the spreadsheet, and it was done. So without that spreadsheet, it would have been a lot more difficult to get through this. But
That's a really good
that helped a
tactic.
lot.
Yeah, that actually, I'll have to keep that in mind next time I go through something crazy. My God. And you were mentioning work and unemployment, which brings me to your specialty. And I did look up what an economist does, but I can't say it's something I hear every day. Since we met in networking circles, uh, could you describe? it's, yeah, just tell us in layperson terms what it's like to be you as an economist.
An economist takes a look at what's going on in the economy. What I basically would do is uh, get information off the internet of about economic indicators, unemployment, job growth, housing starts, retail sales, international trade, those kinds of things. And I would collect the data, put together a few charts, put it in a report, and then send it out to our banking clients. And
Oh,
then I would use those same charts in presentations. So you're basically analyzing what's happening with the economy. You look at the data, you look at the trends, you look at the cause and effect, you interpret it, and then you share it.
and who needs it from the banks?
Uh,
Investors or?
well, primarily my bank was a very big mortgage uh, dealer or they're a mortgage banker. So they needed to know about what was going on with interest rates, inflation, housing starts, housing sales, things like that. Um, but also just regular banking in terms of personal banking and commercial banking too. So it's that, clients always need to know what's happening in the economy to know what to do with their finances, whether they're personal investing or personal finances or major investors. So
It
it's
was
always good to know.
what I'm a little confused about is Google mentioned, since Google knows everything, but it said something about knowing about raw materials and about managing the availability or actually the scarcity of them is so I'm a little uh, confused what that has to do with the
In terms of
investment side.
economics,
Yeah,
yeah, economics is a study of two things. One, it's a study of resource allocation in terms of supply and demand, as well as
yeah,
scarcity and abundance, um, and how resources are moved about throughout the economy. Generally speaking, this is a capitalist economy, so the resources go where it's going to get the highest return on investment, whether it be labor or raw materials or finances or whatever. And the other thing it is it's the personal side, which is the economy really is people. And in order
yeah,
to understand what's going on with the economy, you have to understand how people react to certain situations.
true.
So behavioral economics has become a very big branch of economics in the
Oh,
last
yeah,
10 or 20
I
years
bet.
to
It was
determine how people react to certain situations and then how that's going to affect the overall economy.
thinking about behavior, and you were talking about some online, I think, I don't know if it was studies you were doing, but tell me more about how that was not so pleasant as we're going into men's mental health and things that drive people nuts sometimes.
As to the studies or the
I,
sales,
I think you were ordering maybe study materials or you were,
yeah. So I got really into the online marketing world when I Googled how to make money by blogging. And I read
yeah.
an article. And then in the article, this woman says, I have a friend who teaches how to make money on blogging. Or actually what it was she linked to a friend who had an article about how to make money by podcasting.
Ah,
So while I was reading an article on blogging, I clicked on a link to an article on podcasting. And then that opens up an entire web because all these online marketers, they backlink to each other's articles and products and services. So
ah,
once you click on one, next thing you know, you're in their world. And then so that guy says, well, I have a friend who does this. And then you click on that link and it shows you how to make money with webinars. Then you
okay.
click on that link and you watch a webinar, and then he says at the end of the webinar, I have a friend who does this to help you learn how to be a better salesman. So you know what I mean?
It's a tangled
So
web.
it's a massively tangled web, and there's a very well put together, tried and true uh, uh, template as to how all of these online marketers make money. And
Mm.
and it got to the point where, like I said, when in our networking meeting, I said it got to the point, it was so ridiculous, it got to the point where I actually watched a webinar about how to make webinars.
That's
And
what
the
I gotta
guy
do.
basically used the template that he showed us on the webinar. So, I mean, it was just like
Ah,
an eternal circle, you know? Or, you can read a blog about how to blog, or you can listen to a podcast about how to do
how about,
a
yeah.
podcast. I mean, it's
I think you
so,
were you mentioning something how it impacted you financially?
Well, yeah. So there were several different things that I was looking at: blogging, podcasting, webinars, internet sales, writing, speaking. But the other side of it was skill building,
Hmm.
learning how to code, learning how to do data analytics, learning how to do business writing and presentations and all these different personal investment things to help further my
Yeah.
career. And some of them were also personal development from people like Tony Robbins. I mean, I'm talking top of the world here,
Yeah.
top of the world marketing world people. And the thing about it is, see, a lot of people think they're either shysters or gurus or whatever you want to call them. But the truth of the matter is, they follow a very precise template. The very first thing they do is they will explain what they do, who they are.
Hmm.
And then they will offer you something. Generally, if it's free or very low, 10, $5, $10, whatever, just to get you into their web. It's called a lead magnet. You go on a
Yeah.
website, you put in your email address, you're in their system. And then what they'll try to do is walk you along and get you to know, like, and trust them. And then eventually they'll offer you a $50 offer program or service. Next thing you know, you're watching their webinar. At the end of the webinar, they're offering you a $500 product or service. And then if you keep going with them, eventually they'll be offering you 10, 20, $30,000 products or
Oh my
services.
God. Yeah.
Um, and and what I read an article that said most people don't really purchase anything online until they have 7 points of contact. In other words, they
Hmm.
read 7 emails, or they read 3 emails, they watch 2 webinars, and they do 2 online
Sure. Okay.
interviews, whatever. Seven
Hmm.
points of contact before anybody makes a purchase on average.
Makes
And so
sense.
once they know, like, and trust you, then they get you in their circle, and then you know them, you like them, you trust them, and you're more likely to buy from them. And they the things that they offer are beneficial. They will offer you a free program. They'll offer you a free checklist. They'll offer you a free template, a blueprint, an ebook, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be, to help you understand how to do something that you're trying to do a
Yeah.
little better, but not all better, because what they want to do is they got to save some of it for
For
later so that you purchase it. They'll give you the
Makes
first
sense.
little morsel, and then they'll sell you the rest. And there's three main ways they do this. There's do it yourself. They'll help you walk through how you can do it yourself. They'll do it with you,
Okay.
or they'll do it for you. So
Yeah.
obviously, to do it for you is going to be the most expensive. Do it yourself is going to be the least expensive. But they will always say, what would it be like if you had, if you did this yourself versus what it would be like if you had somebody who's gone through it and can help you walk through it step by step to get you from point A to point B to where you want to go,
Yeah.
whatever it is you're trying to do. And again, so what they offer you at the outset is not junk, it's not trash, it's not fraud, it's not criminal. It's true, it's real value. And that's the secret sauce, is that what they are offering you is valuable off the
Hmm.
bat. Even if it's free, it's valuable. And that's where you say, okay, this person knows what they're doing. I want to learn more. And then you keep
Yeah.
going with them. So ultimately I ended up buying in, anything from $20 to $2,500 programs. The highest thing I bought was a $2,500 program on how to do podcasting, and there was
Okay.
another $2,500 program on how to be a what was called a knowledge broker. In other words, how do you use
Oh,
your knowledge to make money in the market?
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting, but the problem with these things are, on the one hand, you find yourself eventually kind of doing this on your own. They will sometimes give you support, but generally it's on your own. And on the other hand, a lot of these programs are very, very long. And so you
No.
get to a point where you're like, well, I've been doing this for a month or two and I'm not seeing any results, so I'm going to bail
Uh,
and do something else. Next thing you know, you realize you just bought a $2,500 program with nothing to show for it.
oh no.
Partly because you moved on to something else because you got bored with it and there was nothing going
Ah,
on. So that's on you. You know, if you go all the way through the program, you might actually get some benefit, but some of them are so long and tedious and don't really show anything until the very end that you just kind of get a little frustrated and move on to something else, even though you spent $2,500 on it, you
Ah,
know? And
so you got to be a
so,
really good entertainer then.
well, they got to be a good entertainer, but
That's what I
you
mean.
as yourself as a purchaser, you got to be very cognizant as to why you're doing it and if you're gonna. And again, when you buy something, you're not exactly sure if it's gonna help you or not, and there's only one way to find out. You buy it.
And
So,
there's no so-called money back guarantee or try it a month and
yeah, sometimes there are. Sometimes they'll say 30-day money back guarantee, and they'll say if you're not completely satisfied, let us know and we'll give you a full refund. Well, how many people are going to do that? Not very many. And again, you probably can't even get through the beginning of the program through 30 days before you can even know whether you're satisfied or not. So
hmm.
the 30-day guarantee is gone before you even know whether it's really a good purchase. So
Did you say you were creating something, some sort of sales program, or what were you working on? Maybe,
no, I
maybe not
wasn't
a sales
really.
program. It was something you're working on.
Um, well, I had two things. One, I had a website that was basically it was not a very focused website. It's still out there, but
Okay.
it was a website that had many purposes. The first purpose was to let people know who I am, what I do. So the economic side. And then it was actually a hub for my online economics research and consulting business.
Ah,
It
yeah.
didn't really go very far, but it was something to do while I was looking for real work.
Yeah.
But it also had things like, links to my music and things like that.
Your
So,
music.
yeah, I'm a musician too. I
I don't think I
was,
knew that.
yeah,
Do
play
tell.
saxophone, jazz, funk, R&B,
Oh,
and
maybe
blues.
I. Ooh.
Been in
Wow.
25 bands over the last 20 years.
Oh my
Been on
God.
big stages, been on TV, been on the radio, but
I bet that
nothing,
does.
nothing
Wow.
really, really big. But yeah.
I
So,
I bet that's
have
a
you ever
mood
heard of the
elevator.
Average White? Have you ever heard of the Average White Band?
No.
They had a really popular song called "Pick Up the Pieces" back in the '70s, and it's been
Uh,
featured on many big movies. But we ended up opening for them twice at a local bar here in Minneapolis. So that was a really big deal for us. I mean, they were a very popular, well-known nationwide band, maybe even worldwide. I don't know. But we got to open for them twice, so
oh my God.
it was pretty cool. And got
That.
my music on a local jazz station a couple times, and was on Care 11 morning show a couple times with two different bands. Recorded my own CD, recorded a CD on a couple other, and played with
Wow.
Big Walter Smith and the Groove Merchants, a really big blues band in Minnesota. So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
it was an awesome career, and so I put my music stuff on my website just so that people know that I had a different side of me. So the
Yeah, that's.
creative and the analytical.
Oh my God. I
But the
might
other thing that
miss.
I've been
Yeah.
working on was something that I
Do
probably
tell.
mentioned. Yeah, was what I call 101 ways to stay sane during unemployment. And I've been unemployed long enough to learn different ways to, and this goes directly into your mental health
Yeah.
theme,
Oh yeah.
how to stay sane during unemployment. And, doing things like learning new things, trying new foods, going new places, meeting new people, learning new skills, listening to new music,
Yeah.
the religious side of things, praying and things like that. So it's 101 things. It's 10 commandments, and each commandment has 10 items, and then the last
Wow.
one is the 101st one, which is kind of the surprise thing at the very end. So I put together a 2-hour webinar about it,
That's so
and it's on my
cool.
website. You can check it out if you want. But
Yeah, tell us what the website is,
it's just my name, www.edcashmark.com.
which is spelled Kashmarek
Yeah, and
.com.
yeah, .com. And but the webinar is not visible on any of the page links. So you would
Okay.
have to put a slash UE at the very end to see the
Okay.
webinar / UE. So edcashmark.com / UE.
Oh, that's
Um,
fascinating.
I haven't shared it with very many people because it was just a trial run for me, but it turned out so well that I don't know if I could really replicate it because I mean, the first time I did it, it was just like, okay, I'm going to try this and see what happens. And I was speaking from my heart, which
Hmm.
I would anyway at it if I gave it out as a presentation. But because it was stream of consciousness, flow of the moment,
Yeah.
it would be hard to replicate the sheer authenticity and empathy of it in a speech. I mean, sure, I could do that, but the stories were just off,
Wow.
off the cuff. And so I think it's good for somebody who has been unemployed for a while.
Oh yeah. Or even people building businesses that sometimes feel like they're almost like in the unemployment market. But wow, that's tremendous. And it's
You know,
uh what would serve you the best right now in terms of some, if you could just pick one favor of the audience to do for you?
for me,
To look at
boy.
the webinar or
Well, I've been looking for work for a long time and looking for economics, finance, or data analytics work. Uh, I have I'm a very organized and what I would assume that I'm a fairly intelligent person.
hmm.
I understand economics and finance. I have an MBA in finance, or a bachelor's degree in economics, and I've been learning how to code and do data analytics with different products.
Yeah.
Um, but haven't had enough of the knowledge to break into the data analytics world. I don't have the PhD to get the high level economics jobs, and I don't have the
Mm.
experience to get the finance jobs. So I'm missing something on each different thing that I'm working for. And now the big push is AI in
Yeah.
terms of learning new skills. So I'm learning, okay, AI is not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is AI, but AI is not ChatGPT. AI is a myriad of things. I mean, I thought there was, a
Yeah.
few products. If people think that AI is ChatGPT, there's Gemini, there's Claude, there's Perplexity, there's
So
a
many.
million other things. But I read an article that said there was about, well, I found an article that said here are the top 45 AI tools to learn in 2026.
Yeah.
45. Who's
Whew.
going to learn 45 tools? And I read another article that said there was 45,000 AI tools on the market. So, yeah, that kind of blew my mind. In other words, it's everywhere, and people got to learn it one way or another, or we're going to be left behind. I already feel like I've been left behind by the economics world. Now I got to step on the gas to stay in front of the line in the AI world. So that's what I've been spending most of my time on recently is learning AI skills.
Yeah.
And
Would there, let's say, assume that you had the skills that you needed. Would there be a certain type of company that you had in mind that would be just your dream to grow into?
I would say either economics, finance, or data analytics. Those are the jobs that I'm looking for right now. But if I could use the AI skills in those jobs, would be good. Uh,
But any type,
every 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 industry is looking for people who know AI now, and those jobs are being paid very well. Data analytics was the big thing a couple of years ago. Now it's AI because guess what? AI can do data analytics. You don't even need a data analyst anymore. You can just do have AI do it for you.
oh my gosh.
And the phrase a few years ago was learn how to code. You don't even have to
Yeah,
learn
it's
how to
true.
code it. And
You
I
just,
actually asked somebody who's a top data analyst in the local area, and I asked him, I said, should I even learn how to use Python anymore? He said, no. He said, learn Power
mm,
BI and learn SQL. But you
sequel.
don't have to learn Python because AI can do it for you now.
Oh my God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was Ed Kashmarek. And Ed, thank you so much for making Men's Mental Health Awareness Month that much more valuable and interesting. And let's make sure we all go to his website. And you can also attend I do have a webinar slash networking event, which is free July 2nd, noon Central Time to 1 p.m. for not only job seekers, but business owners who maybe have something special to celebrate, other than especially America's 250th birthday. That's the whole point of it. And getting some networking tips, ones that you don't always hear about. So feel free to subscribe, you guys, since I know you love the content. And Ed, once again, thank you so much for the super enriching interview. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me, and God bless all, and peace and love.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
You bet.